not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it.
Now there's guys like Baloo. Let's go back to Baloo. Now I messed Baloo's head up because he was going into Cornelius' thing, and I told him, I said, wait a minute, Nate teaches that Cornelius is an Israelite. Johanna teaches that Cornelius is an Israelite. We teach that Cornelius is an Israelite. But you're bucking, you ain't bucking up against them. And there's a commercial out, okay, of this guy, Blake Griffin, and he's playing Cornelius. And he actually says, I'm Cornelius. Now, Blake Griffin looks like an Edomite. Like if you didn't know him, like if you never played for the NBA, you would think he was an Edomite, you know, or he's a tear or something, right? Hey, but you see that dude play? He's a Jake. And he put the Roman garb on. Because you had Jakes that were, this is what you niggas don't understand. You don't understand history, man. You had Israelites that were part of the Roman Empire, that they had high up offices, man. And eventually they became Caesars. You don't understand that, man. Cornelius was an Israelite that was part of the Roman army, all right?
Yeah, it's called Sons of Israel and Caesar's armies. There was like 3 Latin words, you know, I don't really remember them offhand, but there was 3 Latin words that they were termed. And the reason why you didn't know that they were Israelites was because they had Latin names or Greek names, you know, so they weren't associated with being Israelites, but they were in the Roman army.
Can I say something? You show you how retarded you guys are. Let's go to today. Is this not the Roman Empire all over again? And a lot of you will acknowledge that because back in One West, Ariad taught that. So all you ex-One West guys, all you guys, all of us that was a part of One West, we all acknowledge that. You guys, because Ariad taught that. All right, this is Rome. This is Rome all over again. You know this is Rome all over again, right? So just like today, don't you got so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that are in the police force, right? Who are the cops? Those are the modern day Roman centurions. Don't you got Negroes and
Black Edomites?
Yeah,
they're tears.
Yeah,
if that's the case, then guess what? Nate is a tear.
You a tear, Nate. Hold on, Nate. You a police officer. You a Roman centurion, Nate.
Of a high rank. He might be Cornelius, but that's probably why he got it. That's why he figured it out, because he might be Cornelius.
Yeah, he might be Cornelius.
Bucking up against the apostles.
Yeah, don't you got Negroes in the army, the military? You got Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in the military. High ranks. You had that nigga Colin Powell. He was the top ranking and he ain't no Edomite. Colin Powell's a nigga. And he was the top ranking commander over all the armies, man.
They wanted him to be the president.
Yeah,
they wanted him. I don't know if it was Bush era. I think they wanted him to be the vice president.
Yeah, they wanted him to
and
run.
that would have led him to being the president, man.
Cut.
And he said no because of his wife. His wife don't want to get into politics, but they wanted them Edomites would have backed his ass up, man.
Cut.
They wanted him to be the vice president, man.
Cut.
Okay?
That's right. And he was the top commander over all the armed forces, man. He was the commander in chief over all the armed forces. And he was a Jake, an Israelite. You see what I'm saying? You got Negroes all up in the military, the army. So it was the same thing back then, man. What's so hard about that for you guys to get? Back during the time of Yahushua.
They can't get it because there's a famine of hearing of the word. Read it again.
This is Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land. Not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord.
But of hearing the words of the Lord. All right? Now, keep your thought, brother. Now, Baloo was going back and forth, asking me about the Cornelius thing and Acts 15 and Amos 9. So I went to Amos 9. I asked him, I said, well, wait a minute. What's the difference between Acts 15 and Amos 9? I said, the word Edom is missing from Act 15. I said, why is that? Okay. And then he asked me about the Amos 9 and 12. You know, I'll start at 11. It said, in that day will I rise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. Now, one knucklehead, I think his name is as you sow, so shall you reap. That knucklehead, I don't know who the hell he is. He said that's talking about an actual wall. They're going to build up a wall and put plaster and build the shit back up. So, you pay these guys no mind, man. All right? The family of the word. He's starving, man. 12, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Most High Yahweh, that doeth it, right? Now, I made a statement. I said, that's talking about lands. And that messed up a bunch of guys in GMS. That messed them up. And then when I did that, he said, oh, you're getting worse and worse. And I kept saying, I stayed on my point. I said, that right there, the 12th chapter is talking about lands. When it says Edom, when it talks about that they may possess the remnant of Edom, it's talking about the land of Edom. And of all the heathen, that's talking about the lands of the certain other nations, which are called by my name. In other words, the Most High put his name on that. That land is mine to give to the nation of Israel. All right? So that's what it's talking about. But you know what I found out? He said he made a couple of comments and he never came back, man. Never came back. Because he's messed up in the head. He's messed up in the head. He's one of those foolish virgins, one of the foolish virgins that has no oil. So instead of going back and forth, he turned around and walked away. Like the Cornelius thing. A lot of you guys don't even want to touch it, man. You don't even want to touch that subject, man. All right?
Yeah, I got a precept for you. It's the book of Psalm 105, and beginning at 42, it says, for he remembered his holy promise, which he's going to remember it again. This is to bring us back to our homeland. And Abraham, his servant, going back to Abraham. And he brought forth his people with joy, which he's about to do again, and his chosen with gladness. And the 44th verse. And gave them the lands of the heathen. And gave them the lands of the heathen, which look, the land of Israel, before it became Israel, what was it? Land of the heathen. It was a land of a heathen, man, the Canaanites. Was not a curse put on Canaan, which is the fourth born son of Ham? What did that set up? Just like you have in boxing, you have a set-up punch, the jab, then you get knocked out with the left hook or whatever. The Lord set up that curse on Canaan to set it up for us to go in there and get that land. That was a setup, man. All right, so that's an example of the Lord giving us the land of the heathen back then. Why wouldn't he do it again? Anyway, it says, and gave them the lands of the heathen, so you can't get around that. And they inherited the labor of the people. What does that mean? That means they're going to be our slaves. All right, we're going to have their lands, and they're going to be our slaves. Remember what the Lord told Ezra? He said he made the world for our sakes. Right? That they, the 45th verse, that they might observe his statutes and keep his laws, praise ye the Lord. Because when we go back into our kingdom, with the headquarters being at Jerusalem, we're going to keep the laws and statutes of the Heavenly Father the correct way, the 100% way, the way we can't do it now. All right? So that's the main part. For those of you that bucked up against what Elder Tahar said, well, here you have now a precept. As it is written, he give us understanding through thy precepts. Our forefather David said that. Through thy precepts I get understanding. So here's the precept. Psalm 105, the 44th verse. And gave them the lands of the heathen. And they inherited the labor of the people. All right? So that links up with what is written in Amos.
Yeah, I want to say this here. This, because I made a statement, I entitled the today's sit down, what would I say, the end of the world, right? Another way of saying the end of the world is the last day or the last days, right? So I got a couple of scriptures here. And this is how you know that we're in the last days. Like when the last days came for Egypt's power, what did the Most High do? He sent up a deliverer, which was Moses. And he set up spiritual men behind him. The same thing with the Babylonians. You know, the Babylonian Empire. The same with any empire. The Most High set up